This one was difficult for me. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage. I have reviewed more than 350 Indian movies until now, and today I want to talk about the brand new Malayalam language political thriller Pada. I assume that it must have had a very limited theatrical release at the beginning of March, but in any case now it's already available on Amazon Prime. It was written and directed by Kamal K.M, and from what I can tell, it's very closely based on real events that took place in 1996 when a small group of people, 4 members of the so-called Ayankali Pada, held the district collector of Palakkad hostage. It was a form of political protest with the goal to get the government to withdraw a controversial amendment to the Kerala Scheduled Tribes Act of 1975. As you probably know, I am of course no expert at all when it comes to the political history of Kerala, but I hope that I got the basic idea about what was going on, which is basically that the government kept betraying the indigenous people and robbing them of their land. A vast injustice that seems to be running through the entire history even to this date. Pada is a film that wants to shine a light on that important issue, and it's doing that by carefully and with a heavy emphasis on realism, reenacting a very unique hostage situation. Now, I think that's a very commendable effort, and Pada is a really impressive film in many regards, but even with all of its strong points, it somehow left me rather cold and unsatisfied. From a technical standpoint, it's a really dense and strongly crafted film. For the first half, I was really intrigued by it all, as filmmaker Kamal K.M is only giving out brief information snippets about the situation and our protagonists. The atmosphere is super tense from the get-go, and it's fascinating to watch these 4 men and their few accomplices go about their mission. There's not much dialogue, and you slowly get an idea what's about to happen. You also get small fragments about these people, but really just the bare minimum, and in the long run not really enough for my taste, honestly. Soon it's clear what they are about to do and why they are doing it, and Kamal K.M unfolds his film as this intense and completely grounded thriller. So much so that I unfortunately was craving for more actual character work, more emotion, more drama. Pada has an absolutely fantastic ensemble cast, from Kunchacko Boban, Vinayakan, Joju George and Dilesh Potan to Prakash Raj, Unimaya Prasad, Arjun Radhakrishnan, Indrans, Kanikus Ruti and several more. And as expected from this new wave of Malayalam cinema, though I'm not sure if you can still call it a new wave, but in any case, the performances are all stellar and supernaturalistic. Especially Vinayakan has such a calm and commanding presence in the film. Maybe the only one who is amping it up a little bit is Prakash Raj, who is playing the chief secretary, and throughout the movie we cut back and forth mainly between the office of the district collector who is held hostage and the office of the chief secretary far away, who tries to resolve the situation with his advisors. I really enjoyed how we get small glimpses of some characters at first, but in the second half that really doesn't continue at all, and we are stuck with this hostage situation for a rather long time without much happening or without many interesting developments or new perspectives opening up. It's not that most characters are underdeveloped, but the movie seems to be more interested in just populating the film with as many characters based on actual real people than really doing much with them. There's only little dynamic between our main group, and while the beginning was tense, the movie was just missing something to get me really involved. The performances and technical elements are all pretty flawless. All the scenes with the crowds outside, you really get a great feeling for the location and tumultuous time. And the tense score by Vishnu Vijay is certainly doing a lot of heavy lifting, but I just didn't really felt the human component enough. Early on I understood that these ordinary people are fighting for the right cause, and that the government is screwing people over is also very clear, but there just wasn't enough there for me to latch on emotionally or even intellectually, because I also didn't really think the movie is that deep or groundbreaking to justify its 2-hour runtime. Which is of course not that long when it comes to Indian cinema, and yet it felt long in the second half, as there wasn't enough happening, neither on the inside of our characters nor on the outside. There is this elderly couple that's introduced early on and that's coming into the narrative a few times, and that's probably an element that gave their mission at least some kind of actual face. I assume it's certainly different for someone who might be familiar with the history, but for me as an outsider, the movie didn't really make the situation tangible, aside from some rudimentary effects. Overall, Pada wasn't fully succeeding as a thriller nor as a drama for me. But I also have to say that I'm probably sounding way harsher than I want to. I don't regret watching the movie at all, and I think it's a pretty decent one-time watch. It's just that it was kind of frustrating to have a movie that on the surface is so well made, features so many great actors who are all giving stellar performances, has an important subject matter, and yet there was still something missing for me to make it really work. Something to elevate it from being more than just an important and technically well-made reenactment and reminder of what happened. It really wants to give you that gut punch in the very end, when it shows some real footage and information about the aftermath of it all, but it was too late for me at that point. So, in German I'd say, Pada ist ein eindrucksvoll gemachtes und toll gespieltes politisches Thriller Reenactment, das mich bei all seinen Stärken aber dennoch nicht richtig mitgerissen hat. I give Pada 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.3, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Pada. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon, simply at @TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.